Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about how to use third-party libraries in React Native, the ones that have some native component. In React Native, you can use a lot of libraries that are written in JavaScript pretty easy, but some libraries depend in native functionality. For example, Stripe, using some specific map like Macbox and stuff like that. And we have to do some additional steps to actually use those kind of libraries. There are three workflows to do that. If you are working in a bare workflow, what they call is a regular React Native project. In that case, you go to Xcode and Android Studio, add some configuration. I'm going to show you a bit of that, but we are not going to focus on that. If we are using Expo, we can actually use some command like a jet to make our Expo application a regular React application and then do the same step I just mentioned. And the third workflow is to keep using the Expo workflow, the managed workflow, and create our own application to develop this using these native libraries. And that's the flow I'm going to show you, since that's the most to keep us inside Expo and speed up the development. Okay. To be able to add some native libraries, since this application is using Expo, we can actually leave the Expo managed workflow by doing this command, npx expo preview. What it's going to ask us is what identifier we want to set for our application, because each application in a mobile device needs a unique identifier. So we are going to use the default here, and for the iOS, let's use the same one. And you can see with that is creating the iOS and Android project with all the files to actually be able to use Android Studio and Xcode. And it gives you all the power of those native environments. Okay, it's having problem with Cocoa Pods. Cocoa Pods is a library, what's the word, repository used in iOS. And some native libraries depend on that to actually inject the native code in our application. So let me see if I can make it work. I went to the iOS folder and do the Cocoa Pods command to install all their dependencies. Okay, I'm having issue with my N1 machine. Okay, yes, that's one of the issues with Cocoa Pods. Okay, so let me show you how it will be to add a native library here. Let me see, where is my, okay. For example, in this demo, we are going to show you how to add a Mapbox to our application. We can actually use, for example, Apple Maps and Google Maps pretty easy, but only showing you how to add additional libraries, more complex libraries. Let's see. The first step is actually install the dependency. Install it. And after that, without using Expo, the steps are more complicated. For example, we have to use add this content to the Cocoa Pods file to indicate where to unload those dependencies. And we also have, the problem with this is it's very difficult to maintain all those native libraries because they could get updated after each React Native iteration and stuff like that. and it gets a lot of complexity there. Let me show you, for example, how to do the Android one. Where is the Android one? Yes, you use that command to install the dependency, and then you also have to do some configuration in each platform. For example, in Android, you actually have to go to the Gradle file. That's an Android file to add some dependencies and configuration and stuff like that. You will have to add this, add some additional code in the another Gradle file they have there, and it's very not difficult, but it's additional step that for a beginner in mobile development, and even for advanced, is a additional step we want to avoid. So what we are going to do is use this one, the manage workflow using the custom Expo dev client. So let me revert all these changes. And what we are going to do, basically, is, as I told you the previous section, we are using this Expo Go application in my mobile device. But the problem with this, it has a lot of libraries already included to do all the development. But for example, some native library like Mapbox, if we want to use Stripe, Plat, and additional libraries for like those, we will have to actually build this application by ourselves with those dependencies we want to add. So that's what we are going to do. For that, I'm going to introduce you to Expo Application Services, or EAS. Those are some services that Expo provide. You can actually do work with those locally, so you don't have to use their servers, but they provide some free plans for you to use their server. For example, if you don't have a Mac, you can actually build an iOS application using their servers and everything. They provide an on-demand plan, so they provide you like 100 minutes for a month, something like that, to build applications, and then you pay for what the extra from those minutes. They provide three services: the build, the submit, and update. We are going to be talking today of build, and in the next section a little bit of submit and update. The build one is to actually build the application. Submit one is to deploy into the App Store and Play Store with one command, pretty easy. And the update one is, for example, if you want to distribute, make available your application to a tester and other people, it's easy. Or if you want to update your application in the App Store without going through the Apple and Play Store review, for example, a critical bug fix, you will use these services and you can actually make your fix available pretty quickly in the devices. But we are going to be using this one for now. So yes, let's go to the demo. Let me make sure I'm installing this again because I remember the changes. And let's add some of the previous library we added before. Oh, I missed some part of the text here. But. The navigation bar. Yes, let's add some basic navigation. We are only going to have one single screen, so no problem in the demo. We are not going to be doing routes and everything we did last time. We also, since Mapbox, we are going to be needing setting a Mapbox key to access their SDK and everything. And since we don't want to commit that secret key, we are going to be using environment variable and we are going to be using this library for that. And since we are going to be building our own client, we are going to be using this library from Expo to help us do that. A lot of dependencies, but we are done with those. Okay, the next step is we are going to be using the Expo's application service client. We install it like this. I already have it installed. And we are going to do the configuration in our project. It's pretty easy. It's not configured. I want to do it. Yes. I wanted to for all the platforms. Yes, and it's ready. It creates a JSON file to do all the configuration. For example, we are going to be using the development option to build our client, but we also have a preview, for example, to distribute the application and provide a preview to our testers. And we also have the production one to set the things we want for the actually distributing the app to the app stores. Let's continue with this. One final step we want to do. The libraries already have the step we want to use for Expo. Let's use that. And it says we have to add this plugin to our application to let Expo know how to do the configuration. For that, we add it here in the app.json file. Oh, I didn't. I forgot the plugins key. Okay, now we are good. And this is a plugin provided by the same library by Macbox. And it will take care of everything from CocoaPod, Gradle, and all the behind doors thing we have to do if we were using a regular ReactNative project. That all is done here without us having to do it ourselves. Next step is in iOS. Since we are going to build this application, in Android, you can actually build an application and send it to the tester and everyone. Pretty easy. But on iOS, you have to actually register the device you want to install the applications if we are going to be distributing the applications. So for that, Expo also have, this is not the command. Expo also have a command to help with that. Is yes device create. In here, he's going to ask for access to, okay, yes, I want to use this account in Expo, and he's going to ask for access to your Apple account. Okay. Two-factor authentication. Let me type the code. 473. And we provide a lot of options. For example, let's use this one. It creates a website with a nice QR code. Let's use that. You then send this QR code to your testers, and then they can easily register their device in your account following these steps. So I already did that. So no problem here. Once you register all your devices, we are going to actually build the dev client. For that, we are going to be using the command build, the build command, and we are going to specify which profile we want to use. We are not going to be building for the App Store or for the testers. We are going to be creating our development client. So we are going to specify that. And for now, to speed up the process, we are only going to build the iOS platform. So let's use that. I have to give access to the App Store. You can also pass some extra configuration to automate all the process. So, for example, you can do this in GitHub Actions and other CIs. Would you like to test? I don't want push notification in my project, so I'm going to say no. And now is building our application, our development client, sorry. And you can see that since I'm using the free version of this, the free plan I'm going to be around, oh my God, 2 hours in the queue, but I already built the application, so let's use that one. You can also, if you want, you can actually pass a command, something like local, and it will use your own machine to build the application. But just to show you, you can use this to build the application in the servers without having a Mac computer, for example. Once it completed the build, this one is the previous one I built 4 days ago. I press the install button, and you see it provides a QR code to actually install the application. I want to install. And now we are ready to start working. You can see it's pretty similar to the previous session where the Expo was. The only thing we have to change, it says here, so instead of doing Expo Star, we have to do Expo Star Dev. So let's do that. Dev. And now let's start our application. Now let's scan this QR code. It should have here. Allow. Oh, well, okay. Let me do this. Okay, so now we are ready to work on this application. Locally, we only have to do this one. So once it's done, we can start working. Let's create our application. We are going to have a page 1 component to define our single page. This is my mirroring application is having some lags. Okay, fine. Let's add this in the page. And in our application, let's define the route and everything to actually show the application. So, okay. So you can see we have one single route in our app application, our app component, like in the previous session, and we are setting the title, only the page 1. And the page 1 is a simple flat list with some coordinates we are going to be setting, displaying here, a view with a text, and a button to actually delete the coordinate. I already set one to display the demo. Let me delete it. For example, if I press this, the coordinate is gone. Okay. Let me refresh this to go to the previous step. And now we have some settings to do. Let's see. We are going to be creating our environment file to define our Mapbox key. Okay, there it is. We are going to be setting our Mapbox key. And now we have to do some things to actually make it available in our code. We are using this to define all our application configuration, this app.json. And now we are going to create an additional file to pass some additional configuration, but with some code. We are going to be using a JavaScript file to do that. Right. This is jumping all over the place. Okay. So yes, in this file, oh my God. In this file, we are getting the configuration that we have in the app.json, and we are going to be adding the Mapbox key, the Mapbox token, sorry, to the configuration. And once we have that ready there, we can add that, we can access that environment variable using the Expo constant package like this. We are going to be accessing the manifest extra.mapbox token because we add this key in the extra key. So we access the extra Mapbox token, and we are going to be using that to set our tokens. Now, exactly. Okay, I have to import this, obviously. Let's import the Mapbox package. I'm ready. Oh my God, this. Okay, and now, since we are adding this, we are going to restart the application to make this change available. And then start. Let me refresh this. And we are good to go. Now we are going to be adding the map. Let me close all this. We don't need this. Let's go to the page 1 to work on the map. For this, we are going to be using the Mapbox. We are going to be importing Mapbox, and we are going to be adding a map above our list. I'm going to do paste of the code and then explain it. Okay, I need to import another thing. Okay, ready. What I'm doing here is I'm going to have a Mapbox view that is going to take the same, all the space available, the same as the flag list. Since they both has flex 1, they both they share the space, the same height. You can see here. I'm going to have an onPress event where if I click somewhere in the map, it's going to add another coordinate. So for example, let me tap around here. You can see the coordinate. And I can still delete them. Let's see what else. Yes, I'm using, I'm looping through all the coordinates and adding a point to the map. And all to all of those points on the map, I'm using this component called touchable opacity to add an onPress event to that view. For example, if I press this, but this component, this view, it will call this event, and remove the items from the list. I could also use a button, but it will look like a button. So I didn't want to do that. I only wanted to add the on-press event to that market. And each market will be using this styling, this view to be displayed. So let me tap again. Something important, Mapbox doesn't, using this approach is not meant to be doing this. So you can see that, for example, there are times where I tap the map and it doesn't render the marker properly. So it's not meant for this. It's just to let you know. The idea is to display the markers and actually don't make the updates in real time. It's only to display a few markers. They have a better component to actually display a lot of markers in the map. Let me see what else. Yes, I think that's it. So to summarize what we did, we built our client, and we can actually send this client to all testers, and they can test this application in real time. With this, we can actually add all the native library we want. For example, like I mentioned, Stripe, Plaid, and other third-party libraries already are creating their own plugins. And you don't have to, you can see, we still don't have to actually go into iOS and Android native code via Xcode and Android Studio. And that simplifies a lot of the development. Let's see, what else? Yes, I think that's it. Let me see if you have any questions. Yeah, let me know if you have any question. Let me go to the presentation. I think that's it. Another thing that Expo provides, just to finish, let me stop this. You can actually do npm start and set this parent to be a tunnel to the instruction here, and it will create a QR code that you can scan from anywhere. So, for example, you can be showing this application to the designer and do changes in real time, and do changes, and the designer will see the changes reflected in the device in real time. Here is using ngrok, so it's creating a QR code proxy to access your application in real time through the internet. So that's something you get for free when using Expo. What else is good to know? Yeah, I think that's it for now. In the next session, the idea will be to show you all the workflow I do for my projects, how to build the application, send it to your testers to test it via GitHub workflows. So you will see how I do that. And finally, how to send it to the App Store to deploy the application to the store. All that using these services, the submit and update. So yes, the plan is to show you that in the final session. Let me see. So unless there is a question, I think we are finished. Yeah. I'm going to stop the recording then. Let me see, where is it?